Well, hello there, YouTube. This is Mr. Gibson Guy here. Thanks for tuning in. This is part 2 video of the comparison of contacts and Nikon lenses. This is something that I came up with, and I want to see how this works out. I've gotten a lot of positive response already from people that have been seeing the other ones leading up to this. This is the actual photographs taken concurrently. I'm using 6 Carl Zeiss lenses and 6 NIKKOR lenses, all the same. The only one different, meaning the contacts is a 25 millimeter and the Nikon is a 24 millimeter, so they're 1 millimeter off in the widest ones. And I'm not trying to do this, saying, all right, this is the 24, this is the 35, this is the 50, but just saying on these pictures that I'm showing you, the top picture will be taken with Nikon camera and the NIKKOR lenses. The bottom picture will be the same picture, only taken with the contacts camera and the Carl Zeiss lenses. And my biggest fear when I was coming up with this whole idea for doing this was that I was going to put the pictures up and you would look at them in the video and say, they're the same picture. They look identical. And if you think about it, they should be, because I take them under the same lighting, with the same length lens except for that one millimeter difference. And what I did was I set every lens at f8 and let the camera, which is auto exposure, determine what shutter speed was going to go with it. And what I discovered from the pictures when I finally got them back was there was a tremendous amount of difference in everything. They both gave back good pictures, but how the lenses saw the light, then they transmitted it to the film, came out very different. The colors are different. And the contacts, apparently, and you'd only find this out from doing comparison tests like this, the contacts apparently underexposes a little bit. So I have, from now on, I know that from doing this sequence, and from now on I'm going to set the contacts on +1 on the exposure compensation before I do this, and I think it'll come out better matched as far as the exposure goes. But as far as the picture goes and what you see is there's a good deal of difference in the lenses. And this is 1 out of 6 contacts lenses, 1 out of 6 NIKKOR lenses. So remember, Nikon's going to be on top, contacts on the bottom, and let me just take these through here. They're marked on the back, contacts 1, Nikon 1. This next set of pictures are going to be vertical format. Alright, again, it's contacts on the bottom, Nikon on the top. Let's see it better that way. Is that showing up? Yeah, that's pretty much in there. I'm looking at the viewfinder here. Alright, and so we can see these berries here, same ones here, up here. These are over here. This is down here. And this one is a little bit light to me, the bottom one, the contacts one. The Nikon one looks like it's better exposure. You can see some blue sky, and here the sky is almost white, same clouds. Most of these I set the camera with the lens and have both cameras and both lenses ready, and I take one picture, then take the other picture. So they stay lined up pretty well. So contacts and Nikon. And don't worry, we got plenty of these to go. Alright, this one goes this way. Alright, contacts on the bottom. NIKKOR's on top. Alright, you can see both of those. And I don't know how much detail you're going to get from the video, but what I've seen so far is that it carries over pretty well. You can see, should be able to see difference from these two photos, and it's pretty obvious that they are different, although they're exactly the same subject, taken almost an exact same time and light. Oh boy, this is going to look amazing. This way. This is. I think this is a vertical. Yeah, this is here. These are across here. And this is this one, and this red one is here. Very difference in how it looks. Picture number 4. And picture number 5. Alright, you can see the car in the background. Contacts here. And NIKKOR here. So here's the tree trunk here. And over here. And then here's the berries over on the sides, and you can kind of see the car in the background. I shot the early shots in my front yard of this tree that had these red berries growing on it, and then I shot down the street at several pictures in the neighborhood. And then I went to the park later on and shot the other ones. So I kind of have some from home, and it was a bright sunny day, and then I have some from the park go along with them. You can see the exposure is very different here. This is lightly exposed, this is real darkly exposed here. Of course, it's negative film, so everything reverses. And it's the same exact picture, but comes across very different visually. Next one, all right, this is the same thing here. This is the contacts, the Carl Zeiss, and this is the NIKKOR. And you can see the background. This is a little bit lighter than this, but basically the background stays the same, but look how much different in the way it's showing the tree in the shade. Here's the branches and the trunk, same over here. And you can see part of my driveway here. See a little bit of the next door neighbor's car right through those leaves there. But those are the same pictures, but have a totally different appearance. Next ones. Yeah, this is a picture of the house. Here's the contacts. Oh, that's upside down. That's what's going on. There. Yeah, you can see the windows in the car there. And this one goes this way. That's, you can take a look there. You can, I guess you can pause the video if you want to take a longer look at it, but I'll put enough here you can get a good view of it. And I think you get a pretty good comparison from doing it this way. All right. And with the red berries, we've got a few more red berries, and then we're going to move to other subjects here. All right. That's the background there. This one goes this way. There. Keep these in order, but they are, each photograph is marked on the back, so I can get them put back in order if I get them mixed up here. Alright, contacts, Nikon. Carl Zeiss, NIKKORs. This is doubles. goes this way. Now these are kind of looking a little bit more correct, matching exposure here. But still, you can see these reds look different. The greens are getting closer and closer together here. But there's a lot of difference still in the reds. This here, these up here, and this here. So taken with the same focal length lens, but each picture still has some difference in it. Although as you look at them, I think the colors are kind of blending more or closer to what they should be on both of them. And oh, this one is different. Let's see. This is a vertical, I think. I'm not sure if that's the same picture. That one might be mixed up. Yeah, this goes here. Somehow these got mixed up. Here is this triangle right here, and the red one over here, and these ones across here, right there, and these red ones are over here. Yeah, so these are the same pictures. This one, it's a Nikon. Next 9, 10. Let's see, are these 10s? These 10 and 11. Oh, okay. I got those mixed up because those two are the match right there. All right, let's take that away. Next, oh boy. All right, now these, I don't know which way is up. I think this way is up. And these are going to be pretty dramatic differences here. This one and this one. See, here's these extra berries down here, and one red one over here, and this clump right here. Boy, those look different, don't they? Actually, let's see. Is it horizontal? C12 and 11. Huh. Let's try it this way. Is that right? We got the different berries here. Can't tell if it's up or sideways. Anyway, but look at the difference in the color. This is real rich one. This one is real washed out looking hair. And it kind of goes that way from picture to picture. Oh. What is this? Nikon C12. C12. All right. Now, this is going to be, we're away from the berries now. And this is going to be telephotos. So this is going to be 2 pictures down the street, taken with the 135s. Contacts. Nikon. And contacts. Yeah, see close-up of leaves. This is a red tree, and you can see this is kind of a pinkish red, and this is more of a brownish red for the Nikon here. Sky came out nice in both of them. Maybe a tiny bit darker here, but pretty similar. And if you can see up close, this is all red, and then in the corners you have the greens slipping in here. See over here, and basically red on the tree. So those are matched set. Let's see, is that C13 and N13? All right, so those are matched up there. And now we're going to have the same picture with 200 millimeter. And again, it's going to be the contacts on the bottom, Nikon up at the top. And you can see these are more of a reddish brown color red, and this, just like the other contacts lens, is more of a pinkish sort of a red here. Still a little bit of green breaking through there, but mostly it's just that one color. So these are C14s. This, let's see what we got. C15. Contacts and Nikon. You could say there's a bit of a difference in what the colors come out as. They're very different color balance. This one looks like it's just a big reflection, but it's not a reflection, it's just that's the way the background came out. This is some that were taken real close up, with the background being completely obscured in blur. But certainly, you can see it's the same thing. Here's this little branch right here, and this other one's going up over here. This one comes out like right there, little points on it. And this flower down here is the same one as here. So it's in different interpretation of the colors. Not one's wrong, one's right, just the lenses see them differently. And I think I would point out that not only do they see them differently, but also they're pretty consistent from lens to lens for all the Carl Zeiss lenses having a very similar interpretation of colors, and all the NIKKOR lenses following a different interpretation of colors, but staying unified throughout the line of lenses, all the way from the 24 to the 200. So here we have this flower right here with the leaf right in front of it, taken from the same vantage point. You can see this branch here goes over here, and this other one comes back here, and this one is off on the side. So it's just moved over just a little bit, but basically the same picture. Although, what a difference. Alright, 17. Now, without looking, yep, I could pick it up. That was the contacts. And this is the NIKKOR. See this little clump right here, and this flower with the two petals sticking off to the side, and another one wound around here. So it's taking, I think this one is a little bit closer, maybe a couple of inches. And yeah, I think what I was doing when I did that was I put both lenses at their minimum focusing length and moved the camera to focus what was going on close up there. Of course, it's also shot at f8, so there's going to be a lot more depth of field in these pictures than what I was looking at. And what I was looking at the viewfinder was the flower was in focus and everything else was a blur. But here, things come, because it was stopped down so much, you don't get as much contrast in depth of field, because the depth of field is wider. But you can still see the interpretations of colors are quite different. Alright, now, this is where maybe the contacts had the correct exposure and the Nikon exposure was a little darker. This is the same scene. You can see the lake is in the background, but here the blue makes it obvious that it's a lake, and here the blue, it's kind of hard to tell what it is in this picture. But what it is these trees. Here's the Y tree right here, and the other branch right here. And you see you get a lot more detail of the shadows on this one. The shadows are all going into chiaroscuro, and you're just getting the details of the background. But see this bright grass right here? And there you can see it right across there too. So these were taken, I think these were taken with the telephotos, because you can see the details here at the lake. Other side of the lake is not far away. But different interpretations. You can see the spines from the palm tree over here too. So same vantage point, same picture, but different results. Let's see. N19 and C19. There's that one. Kind of the same sort of view. You see the lake in the background. This one, these trees are up closer, and it doesn't show these cypress knees back here as much, cypress trees, but it's pretty similar. These trees right here and here and here, this thing here, you can see it does that. And you can see the line of the fence, the railing on the back, on the dock behind the picture there. So pretty similar. Right, this is one where you see a very different interpretation of colors, as usual, and you know which one is which by looking at it. This one, the painted red bench and the red bars over here, you can't really see them because they're in the darkness here, but you can still see this red bench right outside of this, right behind this tree here. And you can see this interpretation of red is very different. Also, details down on the ground here are very obvious, where the details are all lost into darkness on these. Same thing with this tree here. You can see the bark on the tree, and here everything kind of just disappears into the blackness of the shadow. And you can see this railing here is just kind of silhouetted, and here you see more detail on it, but it's definitely lighter. But the same thing over there on the pier. This is C21 and N21. All right, similar pictures, but you can see here and here, this fence looks a little closer here. I was closer to the picture, to the fence when I took this one. This one was standing back a little bit more. The red chair is over here. You can't really see it, so it's not showing up. Oh, and there's the boat in the water, and the boat in the water there. I got the boat in the middle of both pictures. So, but the background is in a little bit different location. Yeah, yep, C and N, I knew that. There's the C, the Zeiss, and here is the NIKKOR, right there. Stay with us, we got some more video to go, some more pictures. So this one I left the foreground in, and this one is cut off a little bit higher, and it shows a little bit higher up into the trees. You can see they got a lot more room, headroom up here above these trees on this side. So and I think this is the same tree that's here. Yeah, because it's right at this first A here in the fence. So this one is over here, and from a little bit different vantage point, but basically the same thing. Water looks pretty similar, sky pretty similar, but different ways that they show under the tree canopy. Okay, this one was tricky. This is number 23 contacts and the Nikon. You can see here's this line going down here like that. These leaves up here and these leaves up here, and these leaves here are right here. So it's almost the exact same thing, but very different interpretation from the lenses, how they read that color. Okay, now this is a very important one because this was taken under the tree canopy, but these particular spots happen to be in the sunshine. This is the contacts one in the sunshine. Look at the red on the bars. These bars are these bars right here. And here's the walkway on the walking trail, boardwalk over here in the background. But look at the red here versus the red here. And also in the brown on this post here, you can see that it has a different interpretation. Here's the palmetto bush. Here it is, a little kind of frosted looking. And this other one is partly in shade. That's over here. You can see spots of blue where you see the water, and it doesn't really show up because the water kind of comes more white in this picture here. This hole right here in the ground. But look at the difference in interpretation of the reds. This is how it looks to me when I'm at the park and I see that freshly painted red. This looks kind of washed out here. And the wood looks a lot warmer color there on the pathway than it does over here. But two pictures of the same thing, and different. Now, I did some when I was just trying to finish up the roll. This is just, contacts 25. This is just on the ground looking up at the trees. I think this one I did, I was laying flat on my back on the picnic table and just aiming up, and this is how it turned out. Some of the Spanish moss hanging down and some of the longer moss hanging down here. It's closer to the ground, and if you can see, you can actually see the ground right at the very bottom of this. This one's definitely just up in the air. Those are the N25 and C25. 26. 26. Nope. Okay. Put those down. Alright, this is just some more of the trees. This is the contacts. And this is the Nikon. Both side by side like that. And yeah, that worked. Pretty good there. Looking up and looking up in a different direction. Start to see a little bit of cloud appearing. Mostly all blue sky. Okay, now these are going to be pretty obvious here. And you can see by how close the clouds stay from one picture to the other. Contacts and NIKKOR. And here's some of the park buildings right along here. The shuffleboard courts over here, and then the docks are down there. And the circular walkway, we're just going right around there. Sky looks pretty similar. Grass looks a lot different. And you can see there's sun shining on some of the tree here and here, but there you don't get much definition to it. Here you see more colors popping out. See this branch here, it's right here. and the clouds. So these pictures were taken, as you see here, just within maybe 30 seconds of each other. So the sky is pretty similar light. Palm tree over here, palm tree over here, a little less obvious. Everything kind of blends in a little bit here. Everything stands out a little bit more here, more contrast. Yeah, this is one of the best ones for seeing differences in the exact same picture. All right, 28, C28 is, yeah, we got this street light right here, or I guess it's a park sidewalk light, and here's the street light here. You can see in the background there's the red chair and the red chair. So this was one of those examples where you're looking at the same picture, one in portrait format and the other in landscape format, all across there, but are the same thing. Street light, the tree hanging over here and over here. Different, slightly different location, but looking at the same thing. And very different interpretation of the moss and the trees here. Even see the lighted area over here shows some more detail here. It's not quite as detailed fold. Getting near the end here. Oh, yeah, C29, we're almost there. This one is same thing again, only switched. The Nikon goes this way, and the Contax is going this way. You can see here's the light pole here, and here it is over here. So I moved over a little bit. I was looking at the trees from behind. And here it's kind of light looking, and here it's got more detail. You can see that in the light pole also there. The red chair is right there in the corner. Quick, huh? Red chair is there, and the red chair is over here. Yes, all right, that's 29, so we're getting to 30. We're almost to the end here. Oh, and this is a good one too. Back home, a couple more berries, and just look at the dramatic difference in the interpretation of the reds here. Leaves are coming out exactly the same, but the reds of the NIKKOR are much deeper than the reds of the Contax. Different interpretation. And look how similar the green of the leaves are. Those are staying very close. You can see, blah, 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 blah. Here's the big one, here's a small group, and then the other ones are down below there, below this green here. So, you got two different interpretations of the very same photograph. I don't know, as I look at these more and more, going through these Contax cameras, pictures, start looking more and more Nikon-ish to me. It gets to where it's hard to tell. But still different. All right. Okay, this one is vertical, so do it this way. Contax here is number 31, and Nikon here is number 32. See, here's this leaf here, this leaf here, this leaf here. Now look at that. This leaf to this leaf is very different, but the color green from this leaf to this leaf is very close. This one's kind of different. This one's very different. Isn't that something? And these reds, now in this one, the reds look to me like they're interpreting almost exactly the same. You see that? These reds look a lot closer to these reds. They're in the direct sunlight. So that's one way you can tell. But I thought that was a very interesting one. It's supposed to go sideways. Could go like this too. Background here shows this is the NIKKOR lens here, and here the background is kind of washed out. Over here we cut off because this leaf is here. Okay, very close. Somehow growing magically closer. All right, now these. All right, the C32, N32. Okay. These match. I think these are the last of the matches. Or are they matches? That one goes that way. Ah, that's why. That's the Nikon. This is the Contax. A little bit different location, but the same bush. And this is where we've gotten to the point where now the Contax colors are looking almost identical to the Nikon colors. As we can see. Getting harder and harder to tell. I got fooled by those last ones. Alright, now, I finished at 32 exposures on each roll of film, which left me a few spares, so I did a couple of bonus pictures, and these are not comparisons, this is just one-offs. I'll show you. This is with the Nikon. I'm going to show you the Nikon bonuses first, and that's just another one of those. Looking at those little pink flowers, and then this was my favorite picture of all. And this was not a comparison. This is a bonus one. This is a Nikon of those red berries and the green leaves, and somehow I got a whole bunch of background to vanish. Got sky in there, and I really like the way this picture came out. And then I have 4 Contax pictures also. I'll show you one at a time. This one. This happens to be right outside my bedroom window. I got this plant, 2 of these bushes growing up covering the window, and you've got these pink flowers here. They're little teeny tiny flowers there, but lots of intricate detail in there. This was taken when it was really windy and all these things were just blowing back and forth, and I think I set it, yeah, I set it down to where I was taking like f2.8 and to get 1,000th of a second, and so it was going to stop and something was going to be in focus at the very instant of exposure, and everything else was going to be blurred. And then this one too, this looks like craziness with just all this pink here. These are all Contax pictures, not comparing with Nikon here. And so you see there's kind of a green bush growing in front, and these things are all just covered with the pink flowers. And this one was my favorite because it showed a lot of sky and the pink, and the contrast with the pink here and here, and the blue sky over here. And looks, when I'm looking back here into the viewfinder at this picture through that, it's like, wow, that thing really pops pretty wildly. But those are my experiments with comparing NIKKOR lenses and Carl Zeiss lenses. I'm glad that you watched. If you made it this far to the very end, there's a lot of pictures to see there, and I found it to be fascinating to see how much similar and yet how much different the interpretation of colors was in these 2 different sets of lenses, and how consistent they were within brands. You know, the only way you could tell if that was a 200 or a 28 or a 24 would be how small or large the berries are. and how much depth of field you can't really tell otherwise. As far as color, all the Nikon colors were very similar. All the Contax colors were very similar, and you could see. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Is this interesting? Are you interested in learning about, instead of looking at the cameras and looking at the lenses, looking at the pictures that result? I understand that all of these are made, on a printer, but these were all taken the same day. They were all developed the same day on the same printer and by the same technician, and yet they came out so very different. But I thought the pictures came out really well. They weren't meant to be artistic. They were meant to be technical looks at the focus quality and the detail and of the color saturation and the color interpretation. So I'm looking at these series. So up till this point, I've gotten a lot of interest online for the series that I've been doing on this Contax, and I wanted to compare it with NIKKORs because I have a full set of NIKKORs. I also am about to get a full set of Canon FD lenses, more vintage lenses. I have all but one, and I have one on order, and it should be coming in the next week. And then I want to redo the shoot comparing Nikon to Canon lenses. And I don't have the 28mm in the Contax Carl Zeiss lens, but I probably need to get a 28mm f2.8. This is Carl Zeiss T-Star to go with the selection of lenses I have, and then I can start comparing the 28s in there, so I can do 24s, 28s, and 35s for the wides. And I have those on Olympus. I have them all in Minolta. I have all but, I have figuring 7 lenses. I have most of the Minolta, most of the Olympus. I still got a couple more to get. And Canon and Nikon, when that 85 arrives, I will have all of those and even some more. So I hope you found that educational and filled you in on some interesting stuff about comparing Contax Carl Zeiss lenses to the Nikon NIKKOR lenses. So until the next one, this is Mr. Gibson Guy. I know this was kind of long, but I had a lot of stuff to cover here. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Mr. Gibson Guy, and I will see you next time.